Problem is all inside your head, she said to me. The answer is easy if you take it logically. I'd like to help you in your struggle to be free. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. Hi, welcome back to another One Shot lesson. Today we're doing another great song by Paul Simon, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. It's another one of those songs where I'm surprised that it's taken me this long to learn it because it's such a fantastic bunch of chords. It always kind of seemed more complicated than it actually is. So you heard me play those intro chords. There's two parts to this song. One of those fantastic verse chords, which I'll take you through. The other part is the very, very funky chorus, very catchy chorus, which is like a pretty different style. So I'll take you through both of those parts. We'll go through the whole song. Download your chart. Let's get started. The chords, we're in standard tuning. There's no capo or anything like this. We start with the G6. It's a nice voicing. Up here, you're playing a G major bar chord, but you're really taking the last four strings out of that, or the top four strings out of that chord, and adding your pinky to the 5th fret B string. So you get this G6. Then we're following it with a D6 open chord, a C major 7, then we do a B7 with a flat 9, which basically means you play this B7 and with your first finger bring it down onto the 1st fret of the B string, and then we're lifting straight off, so we're going. Then the second round of chords, we do a normal E minor. And I've watched Paul Simon do a lot of different versions of this song, and this is kind of the chords that he uses the most frequently. Some people do different voicings for this E minor, but this is really kind of the way he does it most often. E minor, second time round. Then we have a D sharp diminished, which can also be called the kind of diminished chord named after all the other notes in the chord. Just the way the diminished chords work, they're 4 notes all spaced 3 frets apart. So if you jumble them up, it's the same chord, the same bunch of notes. Any one of those notes can be called the root note. So this is a D sharp diminished. It can also be called an A diminished, can also be called a C diminished, and it can also be called an F sharp diminished. But I like to name them after the lowest note in that chord, especially on this shape, because it keeps things simple for me. D sharp diminished, slide it up 3 frets. Now some people play a different chord here, but this is what Paul Simon does. He goes up to an F sharp diminished, and you can see that that's basically the same chord. If you went up another 3 frets, you get it again, and you get it again, and so on and so forth every time you go up 3 frets. So D sharp diminished, F sharp diminished, back to a normal B7. The third time through these chords, he plays that G6 that we did at the start again, but this time we've got an open E on the bottom, which basically turns it into an E minor chord. Now, if you're picking these chords with your fingers, grab that top E string if you can, but if you're only using 3 fingers, then just grab whatever 3 strings sound good to you with the bass note. I'd like to D minor, D6 again, help you in your struggle, C major 7, to be free. You can go on and off there, but I don't think he does that often. There must be E minor, 50 A minor, ways to leave your E minor. Once. Back to the start of that progression. So on your chart, you'll see that first series of chords is played 3 times through. The first time through is the intro, which is going to sound like this. Then the singing starts through that progression again, twice. The second time through, after you go through the repeat sign, you do 50 ways to leave your lover again. Then we head into the chorus. Now the chorus is very distinctive, very funky. It's basically 3 chords. We go G, And we're using bar chords for this because we've got to kind of make it funky. So we've got G, A sharp, C, back to G. Just slip out the back, Jack, make a new plan, Stan. But don't need to decoy, Roy, just get yourself free. Then that repeats, and it repeats that a total of 4 times, right? Now, you can strum this. You can finger pick it. And I find it kind of sounds good if you move from the major chord to the 7th chord. So just basically lifting your pinky off, kind of like this. Now, if you want to learn more about that finger style, the way I did that groove with my fingers, there's another video which I'll put a link to in the description for an Ed Sheeran song called Take It Back. And that breaks down that finger style groove really in further detail. So click on that, don't click on that, but that should help you if you want to get into that finger style grooving. Also, Cheap Sunglasses by ZZ Top. I'll put another link below. There's another song that kind of really lends itself well to that style of playing and that sort of groove. Now that's basically the 2 parts to the song. But there is one other element that I would be remiss if I didn't mention, which is the fantastic groove that the drummer Steve Gadd sets up at the start. At the very start of this song, the drums come in and they lead without anyone else for 6 bars as the intro. And you know, I can't play it here, but it's a really like that. Now, there are plenty of tutorials out there for drummers that pull apart that groove, and it's worth having a look at if you're halfway interested, because it's a fantastic drum groove and it's a very famous drum groove. Steve Gadd is a very rightfully famous drummer, but worth looking at if you're interested in that sort of thing. 2 parts to the song, 3 parts. The drum groove, then we come in with the chords, the verse, which is the same chords, and then the chorus. Then it goes back to another double verse. The next time you're running through that verse, you'll see on your chart, it only repeats twice. And then you go into the second 50 ways to leave your lover, finally into the chorus. And the chorus takes you out to the end, and the end is the drum groove kind of taking us out as well. So that's all there is to it. Now, I know I say that a lot, but that's a relatively simple format to that song. You just need to get your hands around these voicings because they're really nice and they're worth doing. And the song after that is quite simple. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you've got any questions about that at all. And we'll see you here next time. Cheers for that. Hop on the bus, Gus. Don't need to discuss much. Drop off the key lead and get yourself free.